Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics. I'm drinking.
I'm going to join you.
There he is.
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. Yay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
How
Good
you
to see
doing?
you, mate. I'm good. I'm very good. I'm gonna. I'm very well. Guys, it's so nice to see your face. It's like ages.
I wish I could say the same. I've never liked your face.
Well,
But
I know.
It's nice to chat, to catch up. I mean, aside from random phone calls and the odd text and that, actually seeing your ugly mug first time.
We haven't done this for so long. A beer and a whinge. This is
that's why we're here, I suppose. But and actually, on that subject, I suppose we better explain. So, for anyone that doesn't know us and is actually listening or watching, aside from your wife and my mum, hello,
hello,
welcome to Drewling Samantics. I'm Sam.
I'm Drew,
and we're basically we're missing the grumpy old git moan and catch up and put the world to rights thing, aren't we?
That's the one, Sam. That's the one.
So, on a serious note, we're a couple of jobbing actors, who, for the past year and a bit, have discovered that things are slightly different. I mean, being that our country and pretty much all the countries around the world are currently hosting an unwelcome guest.
Oh, yeah.
And it's had a bit of an effect, mate, hasn't it?
Well, it's changed. It's changed my life, and obviously it's changed yours. I mean, we used to bump into each other regularly, working together, and I'm not bumping into anyone working now. Well, occasionally.
Well, you're not allowed to bump. You've got to keep 2 meters.
You're not allowed to bump.
So,
no, you're not allowed to bump.
But yeah, on a serious note, this was a project that's been in the pipeline for a while. From a random idea, God knows when back, to now, was kind of just we wanted to kind of throw some light on the situation that we're experiencing. Obviously, everyone across the globe has been massively affected in all sorts of different ways. Particularly in this country, people have been very affected with regards to work and industry. But we wanted to take the opportunity to kind of show how the likes of us, who, although we're actors and successful in our own rights, are not the big name on the Hollywood poster or the top trending artist on IMDb, or you know what I mean. It's kind of an opportunity to show that although we're not super rich and famous, that we have still been massively affected, and in the same sentence, what we've done about it, and how we've sort of come through the other side and changed things to cope, I guess.
Well, I mean, like you say, we're not hugely famous at all. I don't think we're even, as we say in the blurb, we're not even significantly recognizable. But I always think, if I'm anything, I'm a working bloke who isn't a plumber, electrician, teacher, firefighter, whatever. I'm an actor.
I think there's a height requirement for firefighters, mate.
Yeah, because damn good job, isn't it, for actors, isn't it, right? Yes, I mean, I'd only work once a year with Snow White, wouldn't I? Let's face it, that's all I could do. And I can't do that now.
I'd tell you to stand up and show everyone how tall you are, but I think you are already stood up, aren't you?
On a box, mate. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
If I'm surprised. I mean, I was going to give it another 30 seconds because you would have said something about this, wouldn't you?
Well, come to the diary room. What's going on, mate? What is that?
This Sam, this is the sofa of dreams, mate. I'm telling you. The sofa of dreams. Yeah. That this is where I sit and contemplate the world and basically fall asleep. You know, is
it where the wife sends you when she doesn't want to see you?
Oh no, that's the bottom of the garden by the shed. No. No, I just thought, soft furnishings,
It's lovely, mate. I've gone plain and simple. I mean, my
I wasn't
Magnolia
gonna
life.
I wasn't going to refer to that at all as plain and simple. I was going to say it was beautifully framed and you've got a gorgeous background. But
I mean, I'll take it. How many of those beers have you had?
Seriously, I have literally just taken the top off that. That's it. I mean, because we said we would meet for a beer. So
well, and that is indeed what we're doing. So cheers.
So I'll tell you what are you doing? So okay, it's affected, the unwelcome guest, blah. So what have you been doing this week since I last spoke to you last weekend? What have you done?
So this week, I have been in my studio, which sounds a lot bloody posher than it is. It's basically a few screens, few editing machines, various microphones, lights, and God knows what else, all crammed together. I mean, no one can see it at the moment, but if I turn the camera around, it's an absolute mess in it. It really is. But I've been lucky that for the past probably 5 or 6 years now, I've been doing fairly regular voiceover work.
That's good.
For one company in particular, and I won't mention them just in case they don't want to be mentioned. But anyway,
well, they're not paying us yet, are they? So no mentions.
Well, no, that's true. That's true.
Sponsorship we'll take.
Other good recording studios are available. No, so I've been lucky enough that work, to an extent, has continued at a fairly similar level. Now, I always used to go into their bespoke vocal booths to do all my work, just outside of London. But obviously, travelling is not recommended at the moment because of our unwelcome guest. So fortunately, their incredible tech people at the company have managed to make the system that they use remote. So I've been able to log into the system from home, from my mini studio, and do my recording there. So I've had, I wouldn't say plenty, I wouldn't say I've worked a lot, but I've had some work coming in for that, which has been great. And aside from that, just kind of the usual, to be honest with you, mate. A couple of self-tapes, and for anyone that doesn't know, self-tape is basically an audition without having to go and see anyone. Record yourself doing the part and send it in, which self-tapes are nothing new, obviously. This has been around for some time, but with the current situation, they've become kind of the only option. Very, very few in-person auditions have continued for obvious reasons, rightly.
I don't know about you, Sam, but I mean, I like you. I did some voiceover work, so I had to, when the unwelcome guest knocked on the door. Everything's gone remote. We've done it. Everything is online. I mean, I'd never heard of Zoom until I hadn't. I never.
Mate, do you want to be honest and dial back a bit? Had you ever even seen a computer?
Well, once they cracked the Enigma code, mate, did we need it anymore? No, I cheeky devil. No, but I wasn't aware of Zoom because I never needed to use anything like that. But thank God for it. But I mean, I built a little recording booth that I take up and down, sling it up, and I had to. At one point during the summer last year, there was not a microphone to be had online in this country. I had a decent microphone, but I thought, well, if I'm going to do it remotely, and as you say, people use clean feed and systems like that, so you can record at home. Other recording systems are available, blah. But gosh,
it's be very repetitive, this, isn't it? Every time we name a company or a product, you're gonna have to go, quick.
No, can't say that. But no, I built a little booth, and I've been doing a little bit of work the same as yourself. But you couldn't buy a microphone, you couldn't buy soundproofing blankets or anything like that. It was a nightmare. So then like yourself, do the self tapes that a casting director, says, send an audition tape. So for those that don't know, you sit in front of a camera, usually your phone, video yourself for 2 or 3 minutes. You have to do idents. My name is, my agent is, these are my hands. And then you record your tape and then you send it in and then forget about it because you probably won't get cast. But
no, that is the sad fact.
That's a sad fact, and you never hear about it.
No. That's a brilliant piece of information for people outside of the industry you might find interesting. This is not like your average job interview. When you audition for something, I would say, I mean, I haven't been for huge amounts of job interviews in my life. Well, don't start. But I would say 99 times out of 100, you will get an email, or if you're dialing back to the old ages when Drew was in his mid 30s, then you'd get a letter, or you'd get a phone call, or some kind of communication, either saying thanks very much, yes please, or saying thanks but no thanks. That is not the way of the acting audition. No. So it's actually, I would say, probably completely the opposite. 1 in 100 times you'll get a no.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of work. I don't know about yourself, but I personally work to the rule: if you hear something, it's going to be positive, and that's kind of.
Yeah, I mean, no news is good news, but that's not necessarily the case. But it's just everything has changed. The whole business has changed. I mean, yeah, okay, you know, I am a good few years older than yourself. I mean, I remember years ago, I would sit there in front of a typewriter, write a letter, get a 10x8 photograph, which I'd have had to go and buy and get printed. Then you put it all in an envelope, send an essay in, keep your fingers crossed that they might send it back. And that would take a whole day to send, 20, 30 job applications, and applications for roles. Now I can do it online in 5 minutes. That has all changed. And then everything changed this year. Everything is online. Everything, great that there are actors doing stuff, performing online, and it's brilliant. I think it's amazing. I think I have no doubt that casting will do a lot more on with self-tapes, because it saves a fortune.
I don't think this is a stopgap filler. I think this has changed things.
Oh yeah,
almost permanently. I think yes, I cannot wait to get back in an audition room. I mean, personally, I find it so much, not necessarily easier, but better to be there in person. I mean, even to the extent, the small thing that you could do an audition and the director or casting director can say to you, do you know what, can you just try this? And can you just do this slightly differently? You can't do that in a self-tape. You've got one hit and that's it, unless you send multiples, which only if they request it.
But there is also that thing of you go into an audition, and particularly commercial castings, which you go in, you say hello, you do 30 seconds and you're out on the street. And there's been times when I've gone, I wish I'd said that. I could have done it like that. At least with a self-tape, you can go, I'll do that again. You can polish the finished article.
It swings and roundabouts, isn't it? There are certainly benefits to both sides and negatives to both sides. I mean, as you say, I suppose you can almost compare them to theatre and film. So your standard audition is theatre. You get up there, you've pretty much got one go at it. A mistake is going to be noticed. Whereas with film, unless you're doing some great big, fight scene or action scene with explosions and stuff that you've got one hit on the budget or whatever, most of the time, if something goes wrong, you stop, you go back, you start again. Same with a self-tape. You can keep going until you are absolutely happy with that version. But you don't have the facility to go, actually, they want something slightly different. Well, I'll do that now. Whereas you can do that live. Or in fact, I'll tell you a very short story, not to bore the pants off you, but my first ever big panto contract, I didn't get the role I auditioned for. I went along for the lead, for the hero. And actually, while I was there, don't start. I can look at your face. It was a while ago, okay? I wasn't quite as grey. I wasn't quite as standard dad casting as I am now. I looked a bit younger. I still wasn't young enough to play the hero. But anyway.
Sorry.
Went for this casting. Did the hero's bit, the song, the movement, whatever else was required. And they said, actually, would you mind reading the villain? I was like, well, yeah, absolutely. I'll give that a go. And I got cast as the villain. So, yes, I'm not saying that couldn't happen from a self-tape. There's every opportunity where they could go, oh, look, this guy, we really like his tone. We like his stage presence. We like what he's done. But actually, he'd be better at another role. So you might get that from a self-tape. However, you're much more likely to get that from in person because they can then ask you to do the bit for if they've got. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't. For me, self-taping is never, and doing. I had a casting online over Zoom. And that's even that is never going to replace being in the room with someone and being able to go, "Hi, this is me," but I don't know. I mean, I loathed and hated doing self-tapes, and I quite embrace them now. I quite like it because, you think, and I get nitpicky about myself, But I mean, saying that, hasn't it changed everyone's world? I mean, children are educating on over Zoom. Everything has gone online, and I mean, I just think I'm going to sound like an old man, but I think it's wonderful what they've done. I think it's wonderful what they've done with the world, But I do. I think it's great. I've embraced it.
We've certainly changed. A lot of things have changed for the better. I think there's a lot more awareness about things now. I think, for example, things like streaming sites, and I will mention some and if any of them want to sponsor us, great. But Netflix, Amazon Prime, other things like that, or more simple, like available to everyone or most people, like BBC iPlayer and on-demand stuff. I think people are absolutely utilizing that now. And I think it is something making people aware just how much the entertainment and performance industry is important. Just how, can you imagine if we'd been through lockdown without streaming sites or without being able to download box sets or watch films and TV and stuff? What would people have done?
Do you think though? Do you think they're taken for granted? Do you think that you watch, you watch a box set, you think yourself, oh, great, I'm going to watch Peaky Blinders. I've been catching up on that. You watch it.
Other shows are available.
That's a great TV show.
It is brilliant. It's fantastic.
But, and you forget that there are individuals behind that product. You watch it. I've watched Peaky Blinders. There it is in a box. Because when the unwelcome guest first landed, everybody was scared, and we were all looking and the last, we were going, we're actors, and you haven't looked after us at all. And aside from all the political, people were going, yeah, but you're actors, and we were. But then I think I hope people realize that in those little boxes of box sets and Peaky Blinders and Netflix and all the others, that there are human beings there. I hope, that's my only gripe. If I have a little gripe, I hope that people do appreciate that those individuals that were a little bit forgotten. Buildings that we work in have been completely closed down. Some of them will never open again. I know that's the same for lots of shops and things. And I feel dreadfully sorry for people that have lost their livelihoods. A lot of people that I know, a lot of people that I work with will not come back into this industry. And that's the same for lots of industries. And, I know that's across the board. But I mean, a little bit of reason that we're sitting here now is going, did you know how this affects us? I think it's one of the reasons that, when we said we'll do this, I mean, actually, it would be nice for people to know that there is a human being there.
I think, it puts people behind those main faces or the final product. So, I mean, you and I have spent numerous days, months, weeks on sets, and actually, the outcome of that is a 25-minute episode on TV, and the people watching, it's 25 minutes of their life.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be easy to forget just how much has gone into that. I mean, a series that started filming 2 or 3 years ago still isn't out yet, for example, because they're putting so much into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I completely agree. I think to an extent it is taken for granted because it's just so easy. You sit down in front of your TV, you press your Netflix button these days, and everything's available to you, and you're just like, wow.
I'm just as guilty. I take for granted that I've been able to do that, because there's been, I enjoy watching telly. I enjoy watching television. Of course I do. It's part of our industry. Yeah. But, I've also gone, bored of that. Oh, great. I'll watch. And I've been able to scroll through reams and reams of stuff and go, I'll watch that. And it's disposable. And I take it for granted just as much as everybody else. It's really weird to go, Yeah, I'm just as guilty of, but it's just, I think it's been placed front and center that everything is on these screens that we've got in front of us, and we can press that button and boom, we've got it. And I think it's the same. I wider subject. I think we've all been made aware of individual contributions to things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I took my wife to go and have her vaccination this morning.
Oh, very good.
I took my mum to have hers about a month ago.
You feeling left out? I'll take you. Hello.
But yeah, and it's and there are people there that are giving their time up to just to show you where to park, and then there are the nurses, the doctors, the pharmacists. You think, I look into that face and I appreciate what those people do. I haven't been on public transport for over a year. I haven't been on a tube train for over a year. I don't know how that works, but there are still people that are doing that, keeping stuff going. This is my little plug to the nation, but it makes me think about that, and it's kind of like, makes me think about the people that are in the box sets, and
well, this is it, isn't it? It's all the building blocks that go together. So it sounds like we're semi-mounting an attack on the big famous names and the super talented actors, which is not the case at all.
No,
but what we want to do is just add to the awareness that from the bloke that plugs your mic in and checks your sound levels to the ones that stand with reflectors to keep the light going, to the people that write the social media posts for film release, or are in there doing your makeup artists, continuity, the caterers on set, all these hundreds of thousands of different people and jobs they do who have been affected all in one go.
There's thousands of people.
And we can give a decent impression of how it's affecting the performance side. So you and I have done bits of everything. I've done a lot of modeling work and a fair bit of voiceover, but mainly stage work, musicals and other stuff. You equally have done lots of stage stuff, do quite a lot of TV, film, radio. But between us, we've kind of jumped into a lot of the different areas of performance artistry.
Has it made you think? Because it has made me think. I need to polish my skills. I mean, I've gone. Yeah, maybe I should do a little bit more of that. Maybe because I've been working from home doing some voiceover stuff, and I've gone. I need to do that. I mean, quite apart from self-editing this whatever I record to send to a client. I was gone. Okay, my voice needs to be better. I've got to keep a discipline. If I've got couple of 3 hours of stuff to record tomorrow, I can't stay up late and have a pint. It makes you think, and I think I've become a little bit more aware of not of my skills, but actually aware of my skills, and like, actually I've got to do this properly. I've got to do it properly, otherwise
I think in a broader sense, I've discovered things like simple things like getting up in the morning and getting dressed and actually, rather than going, well, do you know what, today I've got to update my CV, I'll just sit in bed on the laptop and do it. You can still achieve things like that, but I found that by getting up and actually getting started, being dressed, being up on my feet, maybe going for an early morning walk or whatever, something to get your day started properly, has made a massive difference. And I know that that's generic, that goes across the board. But with regards to sort of honing your skills and it's almost it's the whole riding a bike thing, isn't it? So I've not set foot on a stage for a long time, and I relish the thought that I will soon be able to again, hopefully. But it's going to be a bit of an experience because it's been so long, and you don't forget how to act. You don't lose your ability, but we're certainly going to be rusty in things. And we were saying shows that we do or have done in the past together regularly, the scripts that we know inside out, we may have to run them a couple of times just to get your head back in the game.
But I mean, that's true of what we do. But I mean, I went out. I had to take the car to get MOT'd yesterday, and it was going out and doing something as normal as that. I mean, I go to a local garage, been going to them for years. It was pulling at the going, this is just feels weird. And then walking, dropping the car off, walking home, and then walking through the streets with my mask on. And it was like, I've not done this. This feels weird. Everything feels, I feel like I've almost got to rehearse my life again. You know what I mean by that? It's like
try and remember how to be a person.
Yeah, because there's stuff. I mean, like you're saying, I love reading, and there are days early on in the first lockdown we thought, well, I can't work, I can't do anything. I've done all that. Right, I'm just going to read for 5 hours. Because I couldn't do it. I'd sit on the, I'd sit on the sofa of dreams. There I was, the sofa of dreams with a book, ordered online. And it's like,
I mean, mate, I'm getting images that you're reading 50 Shades of Grey. I don't know why that book has sprung to mind when you talk about.
I don't have those kinds of dreams on this sofa.
Oh right, okay. Sorry. Oh yeah.
No. And I haven't watched 50. Actually, that's not true. I have watched 50 Shades of Grey.
I haven't.
No, don't.
No?
No, please, seriously. No. I'm saying nothing.
Okay.
But no, I could easily write off 5 hours with a good book, but then go, okay, I've got to sort of stay motivated. I've got to do something, But there was an excuse at the beginning because when we went, I don't know what's happening. But I think with this last period of lockdown, we can work towards things now. And I've been, thank whoever, whatever they are. I've had a little bit of film work.
Yeah.
And I hear people out there going, oh God, filming, you're not supposed to leave house. They were probably the safest place on the planet.
Yeah.
Because I did one day's filming. I was tested 5 times, 5 tests. I had to go into isolation for 5 days. And on set, it was like being, separated, masks on. Someone would come up and squirt something in your hands to clean your hands every 5 minutes. If you got too close, it was probably the safest place to be in the world.
Yeah.
And that was one concession to the industry, is like professional film sets could work after a certain period. So those were probably, I've had one single day, thank you, because, it paid the rent. But,
I completely agree, mate. So I did a very brief sort of small shoot for Sky. Other services are available for a Sky TV show. And arrive, wait in the car, get handed a test kit through the window, do the test on the spot. If you don't test negative, you don't come in.
No, you go home.
So, as you say, completely and utterly safe on a set where you'd normally have 15, 20 people, because you'd have director, assistant director, director of photography, a couple of sound people, a couple of others, makeup, continuity, blah 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 blah. I think there were with 2 of us actors, 1 director, 1 DOP, director of photography, and in the other room was a producer, and that was it. And when they needed to rearrange the set slightly, myself and the other actor stepped out. And at any point we weren't on screen, we had masks on. So I've just realised I've got a microphone. That's probably not going to help. But incredibly safe and completely in control and very, very kind of adamant on making sure all rules and all safety precautions are taken.
Yeah.
And I understand that some people will be reluctant to do things or reluctant to accept that certain things should be going ahead until everything is completely until our unwelcome guest is permanently removed. But also you have to look at what we're sacrificing if we do that, and what we'll be missing. And as we've said, people perhaps do to a small extent take things for granted, the amount of TV, film, whatever that is available. And actually, I don't think we've seen it yet because of the turnaround times, but I think sometime in the next 6 months to a year, perhaps we will see a lull from the fact that stuff hasn't been in production because stuff hasn't been made.
Yeah.
We won't have been hit with it yet because we're still on a back catalogue of what's been done and what is still in the edit. But there will be a period where all of a sudden things feel different.
Yeah. I mean, even UK Gold is starting to run out of really old sitcoms to put on, But it's, I mean, yeah, we've got, we've got Mr. Johnson's roadmap, the government's roadmap out, and all the rest of it. And I think there's a kind of, I mean, I don't know about you. You think, well, actually, was it 21st of June or whatever the date is? Will theatres open? Will
This is the thing,
will
and I
they
think
be able to, because you can open a theatre, but can we rehearse the month before it opens? Are we allowed to do that, given social distancing and exit, which I understand? But are we allowed to do that so we're ready on the 21st of June, whatever the date is, to go, bing, we've got a show?
This is it. There is a big difference between a shop, for example, that up until that date has had its doors closed, and after that date will have its doors open. And I'm not saying it's a simple transition, click your fingers and everything goes back to normal, but they will be able to operate in some capacity. Whereas, yes, the theatre doors will be open, but that is only the beginning. That is just allowing a space.
Absolutely.
That doesn't account for everything else that's involved. But I think that's potentially something that we can discuss a bit more as we go through episode by episode in the future, and look into a few other different things. So tell me, what have you got booked in, mate? What's coming up?
Coming week, it's quite quiet. I will be doing with my wife on Tuesday. She has put her children's shows online on Zoom, so I will be assisting her with that on Tuesday.
Cool.
And then we are working with an outside attraction near where my mum lives. My mum lives in Bedfordshire, so she lives just outside Luton, and there's an outside attraction. So we'll be meeting with them Wednesday or so to discuss putting shows on, producing some shows during the summer. So that'll be my week. And then anything, fingers crossed, that comes up, self-tapes or anything, doing that. Looking after the cats, visiting my mum. I'm going to be gardening. I'm going to be doing some gardening. There you go.
Lovely.
Outside pruning. I mean, that's not a euphemism.
No, I was going to say, write your own jokes in that gap.
You can have that one. You can have that.
Absolutely, you enjoy. So I've got a couple of self-tapes I need to do, which I've procrastinated over long enough. So they definitely need doing. And I'm also, fingers crossed, might be at the stage to start audiobook number 2. So I recently finished, as you know, recording my first full novel audiobook for the brilliant Andrew Dobell, who will be ecstatic I've mentioned him, I'm sure. And details of that will be released fairly soon, but hopefully we're going to get onto the second volume and start recording that soon as well. So very much looking forward to that. And as you say, it's keeping an eye on the casting sites and waiting to hear from people, and hopefully some other work will rear its head. Certainly feel a lot busier in the past couple of weeks compared to previously. Things seem a bit more active, and people are prepping for a time where we can actually do a bit more. So it's just a case of hopefully slowly getting back to the new normal.
I mean, for anybody who's listening, hopefully they are listening, and things we're having
haven't turned off already.
Feeling sorry for ourselves. I'm not feeling sorry for myself. It's been a tough time for everyone. The unwelcome guest has descended, and we've all. So I mean, I'm not having a whinge. And certainly now, I'm glad that everything and everybody can, plan a little bit. If and that makes me sound like Father Christmas saying, "Go out and enjoy." But it's like, it's I feel a little bit more upbeat.
I think we have to kind of make it massively apparent that we are incredibly lucky that we have managed to keep working. I know so many performers out there who are now working in Tesco, other supermarkets are available, or delivering for Amazon, other delivery services are available, etc., etc. There are people that have gone and got so
that's really funny you're doing that. That's going to be a little. If you want another tat, mate, I just have that on the arm. Other tattoos are available.
Basically, there are a lot of people in our industry who have had to defect to do normal jobs, as we kindly refer to them. And we are very lucky that we are probably very much in the minority who have managed to keep working and sustaining ourselves. not to take anything away from the fact that we are working bloody hard at it. It's certainly not just been thrown at us, and we haven't just kind of sat back and been lucky. We have had to work really hard to get where we are, but at the same time, there are lots out there that haven't been as fortunate as us. So kudos to them.
Yeah. Yes, I
yeah. But yeah, no, it's, well, I don't know, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure catching up.
Great, mate. It really is. It's really lovely, and I mean, yeah, we'll keep on doing this.
Absolutely.
I like this.
And good luck with everything you've got coming this week.
And you,
thank you, and
look after yourself, buddy.
Yes, well, and you, and as said, congratulations on everything you've done thus far, and keep working hard. And to anyone out there listening, I suppose we better say thank you to all of you for listening in.
Yes,
thank you. Watching. We'd love you to watch us again. Some details will pop up in a minute on how you can subscribe to us or listen to us or comment how much you hated us or whatever you like. But essentially,
stick with us because we I mean, Sam can be extremely charming and funny. He
can be. Right. So this is the final episode of
partnership breaks down.
No, we really do appreciate anyone that's tuned in to listen or watch us, and we hope you'll stick with us. We've got lots of fun things that we're going to chat about over the coming weeks and months. Hopefully in the long run we will get a few people to join us as well, some interesting faces who will be able to talk about various other aspects of the industry and how they've been affected and what they're doing looking to the future. And yeah, just everyone out there, please do stay safe. Listen to what you're supposed to be doing. If you can make sense of the rules, please try. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you next week.
We'll do this again. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Drew, it's been a pleasure, mate. I'll see you very
soon. Always, Sam. As always. Yeah.
Take it easy, buddy. See you later.
Look after yourself. Take care.
Ta-da.
Cheers now. Bye, everyone.
Thanks again for tuning in. We hope you've enjoyed listening to this episode of Drewling Samantics.
If you have, then please consider subscribing and you'll get notified every time a new episode is released. The podcast is available on all good platforms or directly through our RSS feed. Just check the podcast details.
You can also find us on all popular social media, and you can even watch us on YouTube, although why you'd want to look at Drew's face is a mystery to me. Again, all our social media links and handles are in the podcast details.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so please share with your family and friends, and we'll be eternally grateful. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.